Hey, it's Brooklyn Ty at Brooklyn Ty NYC. What's the word? Hey, it's Brooklyn Ty, and you're tuned in to What's the Word podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. For some of y'all, I'll say welcome back. This is episode 1 of season 3, and I appreciate you all for tuning in. As always, thank you to those who have been sharing my podcast and my blog and telling a friend to tell a friend, buying my merch, following me on social media. I appreciate you spreading the love. It's the Brooklyn Ty way. If this is your first time, where have you been? But as always, better late than never. So I welcome you. Make sure you check out my previous episodes and my blogs. Subscribe to my website so you never miss out on what's possibly going on in your area and what I have going on and other things that I have in store. So go to www.brooklyntynyc.com, and that's BKLYNTYNNYC.com. You can also shop my merch. I have double-sided tote bags, mugs, hoodies, sweatshirts, and more. So go support and spread love and follow me on all social media sites. Instagram. I don't even know what we call Twitter these days, but it's Brooklyn Ty NYC. And again, that's BKLYNTYENYC. And as a friendly reminder, please remember, let's not forget to check on our loved ones. Do it as often as you can, because a lot of us go through highs and lows. Like, I could be feeling amazing right now because I'm around positive energy, or it's daytime for the most part. I'm keeping busy. Then later on, or even tomorrow, I can feel worthless, feel like shit, crying, no one to talk to. So always check on the people you care about, because you really never know, what lives you could be saving at any given time just by a simple phone call or even a visit. Pop up on people. My pull-up game is something ridiculous. All right. Now let's get into Ty Talks.
You're now listening to What's the Word podcast with Brooklyn Ty.
So I took the summer off, and I can say it was an amazing one. A lot of time spent back home in New York. If you don't know, I live in Virginia Beach now since April 2022. I had a birthday in June, so I'm a year older, wiser. It's crazy unless it's just me, but it seems like every year as I get older, the less friends and family I have, and it's not even due to death. I mean, that's a good thing, but am I the only one? I look at it as a good thing because, people serve their purpose, and sometimes it's really lessons and blessings. Folks serve their purpose and then it'd be time to move on. Ain't no love lost. It's just time to expand and go on to better and bigger things, I guess. I spent time with my fiance. We had amazing weekends. Then in July, I became a new godmother again. My niece gave birth to my great niece, and I'm her godmommy. I can't have any more, so, I have others to have babies for me. And yes, I appointed myself godmommy. My track record is amazing as far as raising dope-ass kids. So, what else? August, I attended Ducky Confetti's 70s disco birthday party. That shit was dope as I don't know what. If you don't know or are not, if you're not familiar with Ducky Confetti, follow him at Ducky Confetti, and, you'll get a gist of who he is. I'm sure you've seen his work. He's a designer. He does it all. He's a chef even, because I have copied a lot of his meals in the middle of the night when he's posting in between parties and events that he's, involved in. Plus, not to brag, but, I was personally invited to his party. So, I was hyped. It was in Brooklyn, so, it was a whole vibe. Oh, speaking of Brooklyn, Jay-Z has a new exhibit at the Brooklyn Public Library, the Central Library in Grand Army Plaza. It's free during that Brooklyn Library hours. So be sure to check that out. It's like a lot of his work, a lot of his awards and things like that. So check that out. Let me see. It's so much to get into. Oh my God. I've been away for a minute and a lot has gone on. So regarding the exhibit, I'm not going to speak too much on it. Stay tuned for a future episode because I have yet to attend, but it's actually going to be at the Brooklyn Public Library until December 4th, which is Jay-Z's birthday. As of right now, because it was originally supposed to end October 13th, and they just extended it to December. So be sure to check that out. Again, it's free, so you really have no excuse if you're in downtown Brooklyn area. What else? Oh, speaking of my podcast, August 2nd, my podcast turned 2 years old. Happy birthday, happy birthday. So I've been doing this podcast thing for like 2 years. I want to thank everybody again who has supported me. Shout out to the podcast shows who have had me on after listening to my podcast. And, I can't wait to do some more collabs on this season. So stay tuned for that. If you have a podcast and you want me to come on your podcast, or if you would like to be a guest on my podcast, hit me up. The podcast, What's the Word, at gmail.com. As you know, hip hop turns 50 this year, so it's been nonstop events happening all summer long and really for the rest of the year into next year because the hip hop museum opens up in 2024. So stay tuned for that. If you want to know about events and things going on in your area, I just recommend you follow your favorite legend in hip hop, DJs that you love to listen to for since hip hop has existed. Follow them, see where they're at. And, for the most part, more likely than not, they'll be somewhere in your area. Once again, this year, I had also attended Angie Martinez's annual barbecue in Coney Island. It was in Coney Island this year. Last year, it was in Jersey. But this year, it was in Coney Island on the boardwalk. And that shit was dope. I ran into a lot of people I grew up with, like a lot of legends from Brooklyn. It was a really good time. So if you missed it, be sure to check it out next year. You just have to really follow her, Angie Martinez, and see what she has going on. She's definitely a legend in hip hop. Let's see what else I got for you. I'll be trying to be positive on this podcast, but I also want to be transparent. And so for the last few months, really into the summer, during the summer, I fell into a rabbit hole with Krishan and Blueface. That saga, Lord. I won't hold you, but my daughter Essence will have more on that one. The tea time segment, but it's really been a lot going on with that. And then at the same time, I'm like, are we in divorce season? Like Jeezy and Gina May just announced that they're getting Splitsville. He filed, so it's serious because anytime a man files for a divorce, it's on some seriousness. Tiana Taylor and her husband are divorcing. I mean, they're talking about Remy and Papoose, which I hope is not true. They're supposed to be having some issues going on. I'm like, oh, Lord, can we spread love? Keep the love going. These are people that, we kind of have faith in their relationship. And even when we don't want to be all in their business. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But I typically give celebrity relationships when both sides are celebrities. I usually give them 10 years or so. Barely 15, but usually it's 10 years. As of today, the Beyonce concert or the tour, that's ending. Blue Ivy has been dancing her ass off. Oh my gosh, she's growing up so fast. It must be a dope experience though to be able to tour with your mom and just to be on the stage with her doing, I don't know, like that would be, that has to be an amazing feeling, especially to look back on when you get older and you have kids and, you know, mom is already famous. So I think that's pretty dope. All right. So, it's October, the last quarter of 2023. How you gonna act? How has the year been to you so far? This month, I'll be heading to Vegas to see Usher, who just announced he'll be doing halftime at the Super Bowl in 2024. What? So now I'm really trying to get there. I don't really care about football to that. The Super Bowl, I usually wait for halftime depending on who's performing. The last few years has been amazing. So now with Usher being there, and then he's also allegedly supposed to be going on the tour, and I think an album comes out in February as well. So yeah, Usher is doing his thing right now. And to know me is to know my love for him runs very deep. His birthday is this month, coming up in a few weeks, actually next week sometime. And, I don't know. I'm just excited. So stay tuned for my experience in Vegas at the Usher show. And, I'm just going to claim right now that I'll be at halftime. I'm definitely hitting his tour no matter where it's at. I might hit it twice. But that's definitely happening. And, everything I speak into existence always comes to pass. So I ain't even worried about it. All right. So again, we're not going to get into everything that I want to talk to right now because I don't want to have this episode too long. Then I still have Essence, given the tea time, which is a lot to cover as well. So, that's it. Now let's get into what I'm reading, watching, and listening to.
DJB, Fresh Radio, Fresh Topia, Philly, the VMA, Scratch Cannons is the crew, alright? Hey, you wanna know what the word is? You gotta holler at Brooklyn Ty. She spreads love Brooklyn way, alright? What's the word with Brooklyn Ty? You already know. It's the podcast, finally. You know what I mean? And guess what? It's consistent.
All right, so again, being transparent. I am trying to figure out a way to kind of bring y'all what I'm reading, watching, listening to. I want to give y'all more because I really listen to a lot. I really read a lot and I really watch a lot. So I don't know. I'm just going to give y'all a quick version for this episode. I apologize. If y'all want me to emphasize on certain things, follow me on Instagram or email me or just take my word for it for what I mentioned and act accordingly. So let's see. And then this, again, I've been off all summer. So I've been doing a lot of things. So here's the quick version, basically. What I'm watching, Tubi, Tubi, which is free. Download the app. Tubi be having some hood shit. A lot of hood stuff and very interesting. I enjoy it. I'm not going to hold you. Marcus Houston, singer from Immature and, Marcus Houston. He is an executive producer on a lot of movies. So if you just want to go to the search option on Tubi and put his name and just watch everything that he's done, dope shit. Some of the things I've watched, I've only gotten into 5 minutes of it because it's somebody used the iPhone just to record and, also a lot of the hood movies have a lot of sex scenes. Most of them start off that way. So, depending on who you are and what you like watching. Interesting. Tiana Taylor, speaking on her, she is in a movie as well on Peacock called 1001. That was a good movie. That's about a chick that just basically, I don't know if kidnap, but she kidnaps a child from a foster home and just basically raises him as if he was hers, and their relationship and the things they went through, watch it. That's all I gotta say. It's very good. She never seems to amaze me, from her music to her acting to everything that she's involved in, the videos. She's worked on a lot of different artist videos, music videos and such. So check that out. Let's see what I'm reading. I just read The Perfect Find by Tia Williams. It's also now a movie on Netflix starring Gabrielle Union. So I always recommend that if a movie is like an adaptation of a book, I usually read the book first, because I like to get my own view of the vision from the writer. And I don't know if that's just the writer in me, but I usually just like to get the writer's version first before it's been handed over and things have been moved around or taken out or added or, whatever. So that's the movie. The movie was good, but I really enjoyed the book better. So again, that's The Perfect Find. Check that out. And lastly, what I'm listening to, Diddy just dropped the album. It has a lot of featured artists, from Summer Walker to Justin Bieber to Babyface to Josie to Jeremiah. Like it's a really dope album. I had thought I purchased it and it was $15.99, but then when I went back, it was $9.99. So if some of y'all purchased it at $15.99, y'all were kind of ripped off, but I only paid $9.99 on iTunes because I like to buy music instead of just streaming or whatever. But, check that out. Diddy's album, Off the Grid. And yeah, that's all I have right now. So let's get into my daughter Essence and tea time.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're looking, doing, and feeling amazing now. If you haven't gotten yourself a drink yet, you better go get yourself one because it is time for tea time. And Lordy, let me tell you, it has been hot on Instagram and TikTok lately. So since I've been in my little rabbit hole, I've been seeing a lot about Blueface and Krishan Rock. Now, if you don't know who those two are, you're living under a rock. No pun intended. Basically, they're the most toxic couple I've ever seen in my life. A very toxic couple. They got together around 2020. Blueface, he had that one song, Tatiana. He basically had a cheap flavor of love, little knockoff, and he met Krishan, and then they just been toxic over the last few years. Now, usually I don't pay attention to them. Like, I have never really paid attention to the drama. Obviously, I'll get a little glance on the Shade Room, or I'll get a little something on, Instagram or TikTok, whatever. But I wasn't really paying attention. So I don't really know everything. So that's why I had to do my little research. So basically, the thing that has been on TikTok and been on Instagram lately that has been catching my attention is the fact that Krishan Rock just had little Krishan Rock Jr. She just gave birth to the baby. Now, they broke up around 2020, like the beginning of 2023. Because Blueface went and got back with his baby mom. And, basically it was just denying the baby, saying, that, Krishan been with so many men. Again, I told you they're toxic. So they were just going back and forth about paternity of this baby. Ever since she found out that she was pregnant, she has left Blueface and been on her own. And this is where you see a lot of women empowerment, almost, in the hip hop game with women, because a lot of women been standing up for her, and the internet, sometimes the internet does pick a side, like or not. And, people been on Krishan Rock's side because domestic violence and mental abuse is a real thing. So we're happy that she's basically coming out and realizing all of that. Yada, yada. So she's going ahead and having this baby, and it is a big problem for Blueface. He's been really upset because, Krishan decided that she was going to name the baby after herself, and she was going to go ahead and not put Blueface's name on the birth certificate nor give him the name. And I thought this was a smart idea, not because kids don't deserve their father, but when you spend a whole pregnancy by yourself and you have somebody that toxic and just that crazy, I don't know. I feel like she's doing the right thing because he really just did not believe that that was his kid. And once she really just got up and left, and that's the thing about narcissists and domestic abusers, when she finally got up and left, he realized, oh my God, I can't control this girl anymore. So let me go ahead and lose my mind, try to threat for custody, all this extra stuff. Now, the only reason I'm like, what is he even got to say about all of this is just because Blueface and Krishan are really adamant about how they feel. Like they post Twitter or X for y'all now. They post on Twitter, Instagram Live constantly. So it's just been a lot of back and forth about his family not wanting to call the baby Krishan and just all of them fighting over paternity. But it brought up a really interesting topic in my head. Like these Blueface's family said that they would refuse to call the baby by his name, which is Krishan, because it reminded them of her. But then I thought about a lot of other people in the world. I know he's really sensitive and is upset about the control because there's so many women or men that has to live with their significant other that they're not with name being brought up or being passed down to their kids. And I feel like if you're so adamant about not being the father of this kid and you're being so abusive and all this extra stuff while she's pregnant, why do you, get the right to have the name? And I feel like some men, not all men, some men feel like they just have that right to have their last name on the birth certificate. Like the woman ain't doing all the work, but I'm just saying. But yeah, that's been the main topic. I feel like this topic's been really interesting to me because I have been on paternity court madness. And this has been something that has just been on TikTok lately. Up and down my feed. Because their relationship's so toxic and entertaining that it's hard to avoid. Really hard to avoid. And this last situation and me seeing what this woman is going through, there's been an uproar of women coming out that experiencing things like that with their baby father or guys dealing with their baby mothers that are, really bad and toxic. It's just, shining the light that just you're not owned by anybody and you deserve better. And just because you're mom or your father, that you can't, just, be there for your kid and be there for the person who's carrying the kid. You know what I mean? But that's just me. I don't have any kids, but just from watching all this stuff on TikTok, and when you share your public business on public platforms, you want your business talked about, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
And I had to jump on this immediately. I told my mom, the other day I was telling her, I just did a whole thing about Krishan Rock and my feelings towards her. And now I gotta do a remix, double back, spin the block. Oh my gosh. Now, if you are like my boyfriend, he said to me, I can't, he's like, I understand you wanted to have some faith, but come on now. So, but it's definitely, just their whole situation is sad. But I don't know. What do you guys think about this situation? I would love to hear about it. I had to flip it and reverse it. I was so, I couldn't believe it. But yeah, I hope you guys got all that tea because that is all for me for tea time. I do want to hear what you guys are thinking about this. So, reach out to us on our social media. On Instagram, it is WTW_TETYME for tea time. And if you're more of a, let's say, email girly or email person, go ahead and email us at the podcast, What's the Word, at gmail.com. See you guys. Bye.
What's up, y'all? This is Rashad Wright, Never Been Wrong, and you are tuned into What's the Word Brooklyn podcast with Brooklyn Ty.
All right, so me and Essence have really been having these conversations about these two, Krishan and Blueface. So I can tell y'all right now, the next few episodes are probably going to involve them because me and her are definitely down a deep rabbit hole. And, I don't even know why. And who knows? I may get over it by the next episode. But as of right now, I'm deeply involved in this madness. So thank you for tuning in. This is, I guess, a bit of a shorter, I don't know. Once it's edited and everything, I don't know how long this pod is going to be, but I really didn't want the first episode of season 3 to be too long, so I'm not going to hold you. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you again for all of my listeners and supporters. Thank you for everyone who has purchased their merch, who have posted rocking my merch, and, always spreading love. And again, subscribe to my website, www.brooklyntynyc.com. And that's BKLYNTYENYC.com. Follow me on all social media platforms at Brooklyn Ty NYC, BKLYNTYENYC. Shout out to my producer of this podcast and one of my very good friends, Smiles. You can always follow him. Anything you have, whether beats that you need something edited, produced, or what have you, follow him, Smiles TF, the number 1, on Instagram. And yeah, that's all I have. And as always, spread love. It's the Brooklyn Ty way. Hey, it's Brooklyn Ty at Brooklyn Ty NYC. And spread love. It's the Brooklyn Ty way.